afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from me, your host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Heroes, like defender of the fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on crossing this between the north. We got Isildur fighting for America, freedom and democracy. Here with the 19th Infantry Division. Versus in the south, we got Tiramisu fighting for the Oberkommando West Germany, Deutschland, fighting out here for the Führerbig Light Brigade. He's got elite armored, Luftwaffe, and special operations double infantry gun versus recon support, armor, and heavy cavalry here for Isildur with triple infantry. And he goes straight from the, into the very recent popular recon support coming, not very recent, but recently made popular, after the patch. Recon support to the job riflemen start. We got double force for Tiramisu. Sturm pioneers charging ahead across open ground, waters towards the viewpoint to secure so vital and necessary supplies for Panzers. Greyhounds setting out there for Isildur. He's splitting up more aggressively in that sense, having to gain more broad ground, and of course also spot out where Tiramisu is heading to consider make plans based on that, whereas Tiramisu is much more focused like a dagger aimed at the heart of America. But Tiramisu on the other hand is yet to choose a doctrine. There's no sort of plan neatly being devised there, but there's commander of the Wehrmacht. Riflemen sitting down here through the centre, and the west we got riflemen advancing up as well. Pretty standard stuff. I mean, Isildur obviously knows where Tiramisu is heading, so of course the question is, does he decide to engage, or is he just trying to play around here, forcing Tiramisu to sort of react to Isildur's action? That could actually be a good move. For example, would not should be just take his first initial units and push up through here and then hit the carve point, forcing Tiramisu to double back here. Though of course he could similarly then threaten Isildur's carve point. Of course, that's also something that Isildur have to keep in mind. Does he need to protect the area here, or can he sort of do other things? It's already within the first few moments of the game there. A vast sea of opportunities appears out of nowhere. So there you go, Fulton versus Rifleman here, fighting around the central victory point. We can another Fulton spot moving into flank. Isildur's Rifleman, in this case, punishing for splitting up his force to thin, whereas Tiramisu, keeping his men with his supporting distance of each other, is rewarded. But we got another large squadron support, but the Rifleman is still in a pretty bad position. The Fulton is pushing in their counter TKs, singing out a dirge for America. Troops there taking losses. Sturm Pioneer moving out there. And the rest since they're wiring off stuff. And we got the third Fulton moving perhaps westwards. They're rocking slimmed and bled out, but the Fulton going to again. Slightly weak position, men are a bit exposed here. Per the western Fulton going to squad, plus we got Sturm Pioneers pushing in, so we can see here that Tiramisu is putting some heavy pressure on Isildur's carve points here. Or at least he could potentially threaten it. And overall is building up a lot of concentration, and which makes it a lot harder for Isildur to sort of hold back. He can sort of storm maybe by time. In this case, it's fortunate that Tiramisu seems not to push ahead. Perhaps he's worried, perhaps he wants to push elsewhere, but instead of just taking his 3 infantry squads and perhaps trying to force a push on the carve point, he falls back for now. Leaving a few men to the guard here and sending the Sturm Pioneers back, laying down some sandbags. But he's not immediately, trying, for example, advance up here, secure the carve point. Maybe laying down some sandbags here instead. So that's a potentially missed opportunity there by Tiramisu, who's gone for 4 Fulton Grenadier squads now. Interesting to note. Fulton being flanked by the Riflemen, we can see troops moving to support the Fulton Grenadier's flank. A second squad moving up there with their Kar-98Ks for Germany. So there we go. We got the lieutenant out there for Isildur. Tends to be a very common choice of the recon support, since you can just use Greyhounds and then the airdrop combat group to provide any cover, anti-tank support, and for that matter, heavy armored vehicles in the form of the Greyhound. But he's going here first with the M20 though, also a good choice, able to put a lot of pressure there on Tiramisu, and of course lay down mines which could down the road catch up Panzers, leaving them immobilized and easy prey for American tank destroyers. In these regions they're depleted, sent in here. Perhaps quite clear that most of the Tiramisu forces are tied down the centre west. He could just easily dispatch a depleted unit towards the east there. Bit risky, but clearly indicates Isildur is pretty confident in the current situation versus Tiramisu and the German army. And there go Lieutenant Mr. Fulton Grenadiers gunning them down. No chance there of holding the line for the fatherland. Tiramisu with the Bell Group headquarters up. Medics potentially flak half-tracks, and of course lightest infantry shots. Going point C, could lay down some mines, some sandbags. But there you go, Isildur's M20 armored car there rolling ahead, or utility car more specifically. Basically a Greyhound with the turret removed. That was basically it. Fun fact. There was also something the British sort of did a lot more, basically just removing turrets of vehicles and turning them into sort of reconnaissance or commander transports. Which there's the version that stood called the Kangaroo, which was used as a transport, for example. So a few fun facts there. Well, generally I think they called any transport vehicle Kangaroo, if they converted that from any kind of tank. So a few fun facts there. We got filtering up and taking fire from the lieutenant, exposing themselves here. Bit of a tactical misdiscretion by Tiramisu, might just be poor pathing all the way. The filters and a bad position with the lieutenant. We got a few assault rifles going out there for Tiramisu. We also got the flak half-track on the way. Then we got the M20 pursuing aggressively. In these sleeves, getting back the fuel point there, we got a rifle there, which could potentially threaten the car point as well. But it is important to note that Tiramisu does control both fuel points right now, so he should be able to pull ahead slightly, and particularly can hold them for any longer period of time, though the west is already sort of dwindling away under Isildur's assaults. We got an ambulance all the way there for Isildur.
Ambulance taking the field.
Also note that the standard rifle squad was actually a 12-man squad, so even if you sort of cut this down to half, it's not even, half of that. So that's a little of a fun thing to note. And also they wouldn't have been fully equipped with Garans, at least the squad would have been equipped with an M1 carbine. But apparently they weren't always particularly keen on the carbine. There's at least one picture of a American USF squad leader there just basically having chucked away his carbine, nicked himself a grease gun, and then more interestingly actually taping 2 grease gun magazines together so he can sort of quickly just reload, which I did think is quite interesting. Didn't think they actually did that. It just sort of struck me more like, a gaming thing, but apparently they did it. So that's actually kind of neat, and probably also means the Germans did something similar, since I'd be very surprised if the Americans got an idea like that and no one else in the world did. So that's a sort of fun note there. It also highlights how I kind of miss squad leaders in a sense, from the game. It's sort of one of those little details, and I kind of wish they'd actually expanded upon in Companies 2 rather than largely doing away with it. That was always one of my, I think, big regrets personally about Companies 2. Not a big one, but just still big-ish. I feel like I lost opportunity to do something cooler. We got the M20 up here, firing over its 50 caliber. It's Mardu's tearing into the Germans. Ludwig, though, finding himself on the receiving end of a lot of 50 caliber bullets. MG-34 up there for Tiramisu to help control Isildur's infantry. Flak after then apparently spearheading their way there, a bit risky. I'd probably send an infantry first, to be honest. Steel Pies going to send this. But wire there, nice work by Isildur. Very nice work. But overall, Tiramisu is doing what he can here to pressure Isildur. He's not just getting caught down in one spot. He's not just feeding his men to a pointless meat grinder here. He is shifting, attacking, and defending where we need it, and he's sort of trying to keep momentum here and sort of initiative versus Isildur, who of course is trying to do the same thing. Noting weapon racks already up, and we got bazookas out here for Isildur, increasing the firepower as men for America. Back here healing and such, ready there for Tiramisu. Still no doctrinal choice, and we're certainly approaching the 10-minute mark. At this stage you could maybe consider Luftwaffe ground forces. Fallschirmjägers would be a nice little bit of support there for his men. A bit more elite troops. Spare cops, grenades I guess. Elite armor is probably one that's sort of benefiting the least right now, but the University choose it now can then sort of list it up there for a more specific plan that involves tanks. But we shall see.
Krauts are taking one of our points.
I'm pretending they're getting raked by flak fire. MD-34 they're trying to get out the point, but they got the flak half-tack supporting the MD-34's flank. Quickly putting a very brutal halt to the lieutenant's flank there. No kills though, but plenty of damage and plenty of suppression. So the map is starting to look a bit more patchworky here, as sort of points are grabbed hither and thither without any particular plan, and points needs to be lost here. We got a 50 caliber on either of Isildur to help control Tiramisu's infantry, but can also help serve to counter the flak half-track with armor-piercing rounds. Back here we got our Academy. We have to help deal with the M20, also possibly any armor from Isildur. I mean, he's probably at this stage trying to figure out what might be happening, in which case he's going to need something to help deal with any potential Greyhounds from Isildur. I mean, it's pretty obvious most American players are going for recon support if they can get away with it, particularly go for the Lieutenant, so just preparing for that eventuality tends to pay off in most cases. Rather than this is Fulton, these assault rifles, then high veterans should allow the Fulton to pull through with that one. Wire cut for Tiramisu and his men, allowing once more unhindered access to the sandbags.
Capture point is being overrun.
Rather than slowly losing out to the Fulton to occupy the house, and that should pretty much allow them to win this engagement. Though we can see the M20s being rushed over there. It seems like Tiramisu is seeing through Isildur's plans and sending on the flak after support, though he wasn't quite able to support it properly. He's going to need to move it up a bit further. We're going to flank the M20, and then looks like Isildur senses what's about to happen. He possibly hears the flak half track on the horizon and just shifts away, avoiding the M20 feeding the flak half track too much experience too fast. As I said, there's something there he should be careful about. Since the faster you can hit Richard 2 with that one, the better. No further tech up there for Tiramisu, still no sign of doctrine. As for Isildur, no tech up there either. He's very close able to call in the Greyhound. Push for the cuff one there, very good work by Tiramisu and the Fjord Big Light Brigade. One of two brigades formed up of the remaining units from left to guard the Wolfschanz after it was dissolved. Part of the units that were made up of what was known as, well, it was the predecessor to the Volkssturm, which was the Landsturm, which was essentially also militia made up of older soldiers, really older people, and part of those would then suddenly make part of these two brigades, and they were also generally bicycle mounted, which was also something that happened with the German army increasingly bicycle mounted. That's a fun note.
Capture point is being overrun.
As a fun fact, for example, in Normandy there was an entire Sturm battalion that was bicycle mounted, roughly 1,000 men. Rather than they're being pushed back by the flak half tack 2 centimeter, it's always quite helpful. They've got recents flanking in. Perhaps anticipating, expecting a flak half tack, and then he finds like Kedner for the MD-34, which has to retreat. They're a bit of a mess. Schwerpanzer course sitting up. We got assault going up. In this case, it catches the rear slons on time, and there you go. There we go. Greyhound as well here for Isildur and the 19th Infantry Division. Got the M20 there pushed back. We got the Greyhound setting out. That's going to be a big effect there to the flak half tack. Check that out, like the Kedner is there, never mind. Adding the 50 caliber there to the Greyhound as well. Fulton is being suppressed here though. Isildur is quickly gaining some heavy control of the map there. Back versus Tiramisu. Of course, needs to be careful there with this flak half track. And there we go, Greyhound shooting a bit. So veterans won there, 3 kills. Schwerpanzer quarters up. He could go for Obersoldaten. He could in fact go for Infantry Sturmgears. One thing also, Cole here now also just realised, he hasn't actually been laying down mines despite having quite a bit of the map then also access to munitions. Though we got Obersoldaten on the way there, light machine gun once could work out, though of course Infantry Sturmgears could also be quite handy. So we'll see what Tiramisu ends up with. But definitely getting some Obersoldaten I think is a strong choice. The mines would also be a very strong choice, could also help deal with some of all these light vehicles, and of course prepare for future armour from Isildur, who is not yet taking out that Greyhound, certainly slowed down things a bit. Greyhound slowly turning away at the cover there with its 37mm gun, and reasons they're having a less than happy encounter with a flak half track. Goddamn Nazis! Firing high explosive rounds at us. That's not cool. In these positions, pushing up to the fuel point there, we have punting quarters hanging back. In the west, we got folks moving about with the MD-34, the supporting rifle there in threat of being suppressed. And there you go, troops getting blasted by the flak half tack. Once more, the anti-tank crew is getting countered by a light vehicle with heavy firepower. There, troops moving back for reinforcement. Falling back with the flak half tack, realises it's actually kind of exposed. Definitely the right decision there. And hitting the points there. Rule Isildur's heading for the fuel. Again, also important note, just like Tiramisu, just getting caught up in one point. Now these Isildur, they're both looking to outmaneuver the other devil and sort of, you know, get the upper hand there, which is a real good play. And we got INR Pathfinders out here. The INR standing for Intelligence and Reconnaissance. Quick note, we also got taken up there for Isildur. He could equip him with a BARs. Series of BARs. Of course, there is deco badges and beacons that could support him. Might indicate he's actually planning an airdrop combat group, which would certainly be quite good. In particular, some B8 or light machine guns, or, you know, bazookas, depending on what he wants. Very close to 52 there. Opposite that, the flak after just firing at the rifle in the house. Beleaguered as the Germans keep hammering away. Bit of skirmishing up north. Moving hit with the orbital done, he might try and rush the house out, forcing the Yankees away. Oh, he pulls back the flak after. I think he actually might have missed an opportunity to wipe the rifle on a retreat, to be honest, because of that. But he clearly wants to put some pressure off. So there you go, veteran to increasing the damage of the flak half track, making it notably more lethal versus American infantry, and for that matter, vehicles. And that's also going to help it get faster towards veteran. And there you go, the lieutenant got annihilated, wiped out by the flak half track. But Pathfinder's hitting the cuff point. Very good move there by Isildur. Then we can see he's bringing the flak half to cover the retreat path, increasing his chances of wiping out theirs as well. Resulting in the Pathfinders possibly finding a pathway to heaven. And there we go, half the unit gone in the blink of an eye to the flak half track. Replacement return there for Isildur. He's certainly not going to lead his men leaderless without the guidance of a proper NCO. Well, actually, that's a commissioned officer, it's not an NCO. But, you know, something besides the major. Something who can, you know, more relate to the men and their troubles rather than just wondering, you know, if his great coat looks cool. Ooh, major wipe there, that's a not major loss there for Isildur though. And there you go, 50 cover, find the flak half neck to pop smoke, fall back. And there you go, pissing around, he's too slow. Ah, there we go, close though, very close. Greyhound pursuing as well there. Super close if he gets stuck in a tree. That's going to be the end of that. That's in the feet, so close there. Gets the Greyhound, but there's still the bazooka team there apparently. Apparently switch. Oh, that's the M20 rushed in, never mind. Still. I mean, his flak half tank did a lot of damage. This is not a complete waste, of course, it's still a loss, but it's not, you know, the kind of loss, you know, he just ended up wasting resources on it. But he, I think, pushed a bit far there, and it's going to hurt him now. It's going to give Isildur's infantry a lot more freedom to move. For that matter, the Greyhound as well will be able to move more freely without having to worry so much about getting, you know, filled with 20mm holes. If you're careful of the orbital done, we'll be able to lose there for Tiramisu, lose them in alongside the flak half track. That would be, I think, a much bigger loss. That Tiramisu would be a lot harder time absorbing easily. But Tiramisu is pulling ahead with his advantage again, being able to control the few points quite nicely. He has allowed to pull ahead with a Panzer IV, and he lost the orbital done. He lost them. Quite a loss there for the fatherland. But will he be able to carry the day here with the Panzerkampfwagen Fears allowed to support here the Führer Big Light Brigade? Troops are being pushed back, MD-34 planning covering fire, Panzer IV setting forward, so there with pinned up machine guns on the way for the Panzerkampfwagen Fear. And we got the airdrop combat group here for Isildur, so obviously he's going to need an anti-tank gun to help counter the German armour. Plus, I mean, he could in theory upgrade his pair to the bazookas, but you know, if he suddenly realises he doesn't need it, he can always just go for the light machine guns, which will also have a decisive impact on Tiramisu and his infantry for that matter. So we got more along the way there for Tiramisu, but there's still a lack of mines, and we're almost at the training minute mark, and there's also a lack of doctrine here. I definitely think the lack of mines is beginning to prove a bit disadvantageous, plus a lack of a doctrine. I definitely think that is a spot there where Tiramisu needs to make, I think, a sharp and fast decision. Got the Panzer IV setting in there. Flanking the troop, we got the M1 already at hand there, coming up on the Panzer IV. Sturm Pioneer folks are fighting against Rifle and all the other sorts of troops being pushed back there. Got the paratroops advancing, grenades down, but it doesn't particularly put a halt there to Isildur's advances for America, freedom and democracy. One to tank gun fire there, penetrating the frontal arm of the Panzer IV, forcing it back. And there you go, paratroopers being met with a well placed down wall of fire, stopping in advance. And the east vehicle crew stop, but the Fulks Grenadiers putting a stop for any harassment there from Isildur and the 90th. Fulks that's the Greyhound note, which could try and flank in if I. Oh, he's going to go for it! Oh, close. Close. Had he been a bit fast, there might have been a small chance, I think, of a wipe, or at least close to a wipe. Greyhound having a bit of fun there with the Kidnapper, and by fun meaning it gets shot. Panzer IV being repaired, so in need of it. We can actually soon go for another Panzer IV. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but I really think he needs to choose a doctrine. It definitely needs to be a decision there from Tiramisu. Paratroopers so far not seeing any upgrades. In the centre rather than being suppressed by the MG-34. Good having points there. Slight fallback here, so they're only not quite keen on trying to flank here maybe. Instead he feeds more troops into the 50 caliber. Probably less tactically advisable there for Tiramisu and the fewer big light brigade. Got the Panzer IV sending out here troops good to go as well. The Obersoldaten. Men of Steel. Kruppstil. And there you go, Rifle taking one hell hit there from the Panzer IV, wiping out almost half the squad. And there you go, half the unit is gone. They got the Panzer IV setting up, loading up, penetrating here on the Panzer IV. Fulks trying to flank this time, they're too slow and being suppressed by the 50 caliber. The Greyhound not helping on matters either. Panzer IV falling back for repairs in the centre, more pressure being added, also being put back here with the Greyhound. Kenneth being forced in there, and we got a second Panzer IV there for Tiramisu, and the German army adding more panzers, whereas Isildur has yet to go for anything. Of course, at this rate, he might have to go for a tank destroyer. Almost got the green bomb grenade, goes off, gets a single kill, and he almost got the kidnapper there. Almost, but it's. Oh, not the kid for the Greyhound. Damn it. Silly me. Still, 2 Panzer IV should give, I think, Tiramisu what a lot of offensive firepower, well utilised, could quickly, I think, break a hole in Isildur and possibly even break him. When in particular, as they pull a sword up for him, then flank him, and then, you know, maybe combine it with the heat rounds. So, for example, if there's any Jacksons or other Panzers in the way, or Shermans, I can just pop those for increased damage and quickly take them out before they become a problem, thusly gaining a lot of firepower on the move, a lot of aggression. And these got full of those riflemen, damaging inflicted. Another Brandhand Grenadier here, but in this case I think the riflemen will have the upper hand thanks to the only one BAR though. So that is still plenty of firepower. Also, finally beginning to lay down mines. Only took him about 20 minutes. Got the Panzer moving in. Got the Jackson now flanking the Panzer. We got the Bazooka team opening up there. All shots penetrating in the Panzer IV, which is very much isolated here. It seems like Tim Rossing's there we go. We got heat rounds. We got going up there to force away the Jackson. Second Panzer IV moving in. They block each other. Still. Looks like he succeeds and pushes away the Jackson. His Panzer IV is almost knocked out, but he's also now very close to Veteran 2. In the west, they lost a unit. Another, in this case, the Fulks squad bit the dust. Might have been related to an M83 cluster bomb call-in by Isildur. The M83 cluster bomb was just basically a copy, straight up copy, of the German butterfly bombs. In case someone is wondering why it looks so similar, because the Americans just copied it straight out. So go figure. Ooh, cannons around there, almost wiped the entire squad. Gaining Veteran 3 as well for the Greyhound. Definitely bad news there for any infantry. Got Morbs on there for Tiramisu. We also finally got a doctrine there for him, which is good. He just needs to get a bit, I would say, better at using his tanks there. And if you can sort of coordinate again with heat rounds, they could do a lot of damage. So say Jackson quickly taking it out before Isildur has a chance to react. So I mean, either launching a sword through here or launching the sword through here. Probably in this case better because Isildur has a lot less awareness on this part. I mean, it'd be a lot easier for Tiramisu, I think, to sneak up so Panzer Force with infantry support and get them behind Isildur's guns to destroy them. But he lost a Kettenwerfer though. That's pretty bad. Can't see where it went down, but losing it is bad news. Got the Jackson moving in there. Greyhound also sneaking about there, acting also as reconnaissance there for the tank destroyer. Panzer IV takes her to hit, direct hit from the Jackson, forcing it back. Oh, there you go, that's like so at least he can grab it before he to naps it, and that's it to the American arsenal to freedom. Force being hit straight into the Greyhound. Cannons of shots being fired. Doesn't do too much this time around, but might cause Tiramisu to reconsider push into there. Also, the average American infantry division would usually have a tank destroyer battalion and a tank battalion attached to it, usually from other assets. Little fun fact there. Little fun fact. Third Panzer IV Tiramisu. He's going to have a lot of armor there. If he can concentrate it properly and again use it intelligently, he could probably destroy Isildur with that because there is a lot of firepower. Particularly well supported by infantry. In this case, you can see he's acting aggressively with the Jackson flanking the Panzer IV, getting for a good hit, though not using HVAC rounds to increase the damage. Still, he does put back that Panzer IV. And certainly might buy himself more time to prepare for the assault that is inevitably going to happen. Attempted flank with the MU-34 runs into some issues. Big issues. Interesting to note that Isildur has yet to upgrade his paratroopers with any weapons. I mean, they perform reasonably well without them, but like a pair of light machine guns is really going to ruin Tiramisu's day. Though 3 Panzer IVs has plenty of opportunity to destroy Isildur's day. So it seems like he's going to attack for here where there's currently the largest concentration force. Also means he has less chance of just overwhelming units and destroying them in one go. He's also pushing in his infantry, which is good, but I do think he'd gain a lot more from attacking through again with his basically more blind space, less iron hills for bunching him up there. This might not quite work out well there for you, so we'll have to see. But he's certainly exposing himself there, quite obviously, taking a lot of damage to the lead Panzer IV. Almost got a ramp squad there, but he's taking a lot of damage. The infantry is splitting up instead of supporting here. That's definitely wrong. They should be much more eager to support each other. There you go, we got the Jackson playing behind heat rounds, or heat rounds. Ah, all of the Panzers missed. The heat rounds wouldn't have done much good. He almost gets it with the Jackson. And we got it. Armor piercing rounds. He would not take aim and line the Panzer at the very edge at the arc of fire there to get away because he can't see it. Had he used take aim, he would have been able to see it. He would have actually been able to destroy it. Might be able to get a few shots at the other Panzer IV. So that was a bit of a clumsily executed assault there by Tiramisu. I mean, in part again, I think like he just chose the wrong attack spot to attack again here. Again, there's less clear sight, so Isildur would be less aware of it. He would often more able to catch some units off guard and thusly wipe them before you know Isildur has a good chance to respond. So that'd just be my opinion on that attack. Orbs on there taking into the paratroopers, make short work of them. They got the Greyhound moving in there. Might be looking for the Panzer Force. Lying down, need repairs. I mean, that assault. I mean, at least they didn't lose a tank there, but that was definitely a bit of a weaker assault. I mean, it wasn't a terrible one because that would result in actually losing his tanks. So it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. But it was kind of close. I mean, again, had Isildur just popped that take aim ability, that would have been 1 Panzer IV short, and that would have been a real waste then for Isildur or Tiramisu. A real waste. In this case, it was more like, you know, nothing really particularly happened. Jackson veteran 2, that's definitely bad news for any tanks. Is definitely bad news. Also looks like something got wiped somewhere. Looks like the anti-tank gun did. He can try and salvage it for extra fuel. That wouldn't be a bad idea. at least deny it to Isildur, which I think is the right priority. I think he tries to secure it for himself. That also works. But there you go. Jackson, Greyhound moving in. No supporting weapons there. Panzer IV still awaiting repairs. Got Kidnapper though, which misses. And we got cancer shot there in an attempt to take out the anti-tank and crew. Might take out the Kidnapper as well. But there you go. Panzer IV's moving in. Anti-tank guns white, but he might be able to get the Greyhound here finally. And there we go. Heat rounds one. Panzer opening up into Jackson. Jackson not responding with HVAP rounds. And there you go. Main gun on the Panzer IV. Fall back. Fall back. No. Tiramisu 9. Got lucky there. Did not get destroyed with the bazookas that are pinging on the other side of it. Are likely to do the trick. Other Panzer IVs continue after Jackson. There we go. Panzer IV down. Very unfortunate. And then this gives up. And the Jackson is now firing HVAP rounds, doing some damage to the Panzer IVs from the front. Might have a chance of doing some extra damage to the other one. And there you go. Almost taking out the Panzer IV there. And he's in fact now very close to Infantry 3. Definitely not good there for Tiramisu. Again, the lack of infantry support for the Panzer IVs and their attack did not do Tiramisu any favours. But right now, Isildur's certainly not in a good spot either. He's also going for 3rd Panzer IV again. I mean, if Tiramisu can build up his force again, just execute a good assault, he could really just break him. But if he just keeps up like this, I mean, Isildur does have a chance of getting ahead, turning this around. It's going to be pretty close. I mean, he's down to 38 victory points. There you go. White the Fult's going to squat there with a grenade. He's also going for Sherman. But still, it's going to be pretty close if he does pull it off. It's going to be pretty damn close. And to an extent, he's banking on Tiramisu just continuing to make weak use of his panzers. And also making great use of his HVAP rounds, which tend to be one ability most American players never get around to using very efficiently. Both entertained secure. We got the opposite moving in. They are veteran 3 hardened men who have seen much action. Killed many an American. Fight for the centre victory point there. We can see Isildur's desperately fighting to regain control and keep control over them. But we got the Sherman out here, the M4A3 for Isildur and the 19th Infantry Division. We got Fulton pushing it. They got the Sherman moving in, shoots and misses spectacularly. But the Fulton might not be in a final because they actually hold up for much longer. They go retreat, which I think is the right decision. I mean, he's got plenty of victory points. There's no point in him wasting manpower for this. Particularly not when he's already taking some losses. Like, usually just try and maintain a coherent force as long as possible, and that way just build up for a better executed counter-attack, and then destroy Isildur. Good hit from the Panzer IV. The Orbison squad though saw half its numbers cut down, and there go Jackson ready to support the Sherman. Misses the Panzer IV, whereas the bazookas fail to penetrate. Almost got the other 2 Panzers ready to make another effort here against Isildur. In the west, we got the option here as the paratroopers. Paratroopers with the Pathfinders. Gebalteladung, and doesn't have much of an impact. Panzer moving on its own versus the Jackson and the Raketenwerfer. Jackson's a bit too slow here, and he could try and move it into a better position to make open up the Panzer IV, but he does not, allowing Tiramisu's Panzer IV to get away and also just essentially wasting the HVAPs a bit. Need to get those 2 Panzer IVs going though, Tiramisu, for the fatherland, Germany. Securing the western victory point, and we got here signal relay out for Tiramisu. He's probably looking for an idea to sort of launch a better assault this time around. Good. He could have made use of this sooner, to be honest, as well, to just planned out better. More orbs. Meanwhile, we can see Isildur and the 19th Infantry Division is bringing up another Sherman. He's finally sort of going for what I suggested earlier. Though he is tipping off there, but going for the point there, but still. Needs to get his infantry and tanks into position, and he's attacking for a narrow gap, which could be, I think, a bit more risky, but there you go, goes in nonetheless. No heat rounds help deal extra damage. Oh, there we go, heat rounds up. One of the Panzer IVs, good, good. Jackson doing a lot of damage for Team 3. Shot bounce. There, Panzer IV a bit slow here. And the tank taking about there. He's almost got it, but it's all taking a lot of damage. Stops up the Panzer IV, gets knocked out by the Sherman. Backs off instead of pursuing and finish off the Jackson, allowing to keep firing at max range here as the Panzer IV. This could be catastrophic. I can't get the Panzer IV hit. There we go, another Sherman out. He's now got an arm edge there. Over to Tiramisu. Will Isildur pursue it and go for the total annihilation? And there we go. Pathing issue or misclick. Who knows? Oh, where that Panzer 4 could go down. Main gun out. Main gun out. Oh, Scheiße. It's down to just one Panzer 4. Tiramisu's armor edge has evaporated. And there we go. It's about to lose his remaining shot. Panzer 4 as the Shermans go for it. Shots are bouncing. But many more not. And there you go. GG game mode. Tiramisu realizes he's lost. Germany has lost. America has won here. A victory for Isildur. And some reasonably good tactics. Though, of course, he was in many cases in some rather precarious situations. And I think was too reliant on Tiramisu just messing up. He had 3 panzers. Like, the issue for Tiramisu was just he kept attacking through not very good paths. Didn't support them very well. And didn't, particularly like try to launch any sort of particular good flanks. And just do a bit of, proper reconnaissance. That way, isolate the targets and destroy them, I think, with better efficiency. Also, was just too slow in choosing a doctrine. So a lot of things that Tiramisu could do better. I mean, his early game was good. But as the game progressed, it sort of just fell apart there because he couldn't use all the tanks he got. Isildur, on the hand, did suffer a few issues there. I think at times was a bit too split up, not trying to flank enough and harass, and just sort of finding engagements that weren't quite in his favour, allowing Tiramisu to gain the edge there. And again, he was able to punish him, again, for those weak tank moves, but still, that is not something you should be banking on every single time. So there's definitely some room for improvement there for Isildur as well. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, why not subscribe to your friends and share it with everyone? If not, send in a replay of your own. I'll write some feedback in the comment section. And this is Imperial Dancing. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another Sunday episode. Bye.